So I'm going to start off with some good news and then I'm going to add a little bit of the bad news to the mix. But I'm going to start off with the good news because the good news is right next to me. Does this look familiar? So a couple of people have been on the hunt for this particular backdrop. However, they have not been able to find it. Hence, I have found it for you. Here it is. Now, if you have any questions about any of the wonderful props, digital backdrops, simply hop onto Instagram, look up wonderful props and send my dear friend a message and she'll be able to answer any questions you have about her digital backdrops, including the flower one I'm about to show you. Because that's essentially what I did. I simply hopped onto Instagram, found wonderful props, sent her a message and say, hey, I have a few people asking about this backdrop. Is it still available? Can we make it available? And she simply provided me with her link to her website where this digital backdrop is still available. So if you go to wonderfulprops.com, you will find this digital backdrop is still available for you to buy. So what you need to do is go to wonderfulprops.com. Once there, you need to go to the digital props for photographers. It is under the hand painted textures. And then you just need to scroll down until you find it. You have to excuse my mouse. My mouse is dying slowly and painfully. Aha, there it is. Does this look familiar? It's right here. You click on it and you can buy it for you to use it if you really want this particular backdrop. So what I'm going to do right now is show you how to do an edit with a different flower backdrop. But before I do, if you need me, if you have any questions, if you want to contact me, the best place to get me is on my TikTok. Imagini Secrets on TikTok. I am definitely more responsive there because you know what? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Ah, there's my phone. Using TikTok is a lot easier. And as you can see, oh, hello, I have a message. Now, let's get down to business. I will be working on this particular photo today and I'm going to show you how to do two things. Like I've already mentioned, I'm going to show you how to add a different flower backdrop that will look just as amazing as the one I keep being asked about. And I'm also going to show you how to deal with the creases in a paper backdrop, like this one. Now, most photographers absolutely hate the creases on the paper backdrops, but I'm going to show you a little trick that might make you appreciate those creases on those paper backdrops just a little bit more. Let's begin. So right now I am in Adobe Camera Raw. As you can see, I've made a little bit of adjustments. I've dropped the highlights. I've opened up the shadow detail. Now I've opened up the shadow detail so you can see the backdrop or the creases in the backdrop a little bit better. Normally I wouldn't have it this bright, or I might have it this bright. I don't know. Maybe I should brighten it up a little bit more and then I can drop the highlights a little bit more and then drop the contrast a little bit more too. Just to give it more of a softer feel, I am going to crop this because this is going to be in portrait format. And because I am printing in 7x10 for my beautiful portrait boxes, I will produce or edit this photo in a 5x7. But as you can see, when I go to a 5x7, it cuts off the edges and I don't want that. So I will then have to go to an 8x10 and then I will fix that in Photoshop. Because we all, you know, fix everything in Photoshop, don't we? Shh, don't tell anyone. All right, so I am happy with that crop and I will fix it once I'm in Photoshop. So I'm going to open the, okay, and now I'm going to change it back to my 5x7 crop because once again, I will be printing this in a 7x10. So there we go. And ooh. Okay, so once again, you can do content aware in this. So you just, using the marquee tool, select the area that you want to replace, hit delete because you're working on the background. Where is my layer? Oh my God, my layer disappeared. Where is it? Wherefore art thou layers? There it is. I don't know why my layers keep disappearing. Anyway, so because you're working on the background layer, you can actually hit delete on your keyboard and content aware will appear for you and just hit OK or enter. And that didn't turn out too badly. I can see how it goes with the top part. So once again, marquee tool, hit delete because I'm again working on the background layer. Now, if you're working on another layer, then delete will just delete that section and it won't bring up content aware. So just be aware of that. All right, that looks fine. I don't mind. What else? So we want to get rid of this part here. I should really use my pen, shouldn't I? All right, let's use the pen. In case you're wondering, it is currently 8:15 in the evening in Sydney right now. Okay, and that looks fine. And then I'm going to use my favorite tool in Photoshop, which just happens to be the patch tool. So if you hit J on your keyboard, you should get your patch tool. If not, I believe it is Shift J will change it over until you get to this little icon, which is your little patch tool. Otherwise, you can go to your little side toolbar thingy here, and that's the patch tool there. Now, this is what will fix the creases in your backdrop and create a little bit of a magical effect. The magical effect that we're looking for is it will start to look like a hand-painted canvas backdrop. I'll show you. All right, so remember with your patch tool, you select, drag and drop, which is always fun. It doesn't always turn out, but sort of make sure you mix it up when you drag and drop, just to give you something that doesn't look that does look different, and you essentially do it to the places that you want. So if there's any section that you want to sort of replace, you don't like it, select, drag and drop to a place that you do like here. That looks too flat, so no. Let's have a look. That's fine. Because I'm adding a digital backdrop to this, remember you don't have to overdo it. All right, let's go to the top here. And again, your patch tool, select, drag and drop. Will clean your backdrop rather nicely. It does take a little bit of time, but you know what? It doesn't take that much time because, you know, you can select big sections of it and just drag and drop like this. So those creases are now going away, and you'll see in a moment how it's starting to look like a very subtle hand-painted backdrop. Oh, you can probably tell right now, because I can tell right now, but then I don't know. I don't know what you see. So as you can see, the creases are now going away. And the great thing about the patch tool is it's got feathering to it. So as you drag and drop, there is a feather around what you drag and drop. So it's a soft, I believe the word is demarcation, but you know, English is not my first language. It's true, it's not. Anyway, and there you have it. So I've just used the patch tool to get rid of all those creases, and you see like there's a subtle sort of canvas backdrop type feel to it. So not bad for a creased paper roll, right? Awesome. I'm happy to share these secrets with you. Anyway, there you go. I mean, you could ultimately sort of do the bottom part, as you can see. Again, it doesn't really matter that much because we're going to do the flower backdrop on this. But essentially, this is how it ends up looking like. Awesome, right? So, okay, let's have a look at the before and after, I guess. The before and the after. Whoa! Oh, it's created a copy, silly me. No, I don't want to. All right, scroll it down. And there we go. Not too bad. And then you might want to rebalance that photo. And I think I need to rebalance this photo, but for this particular exercise, I'm not going to rebalance the photo. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go and find the backdrop that I want to add, and I'll be back. And I am back. All right, so one of the little secrets I want to talk to you about when using digital backdrops is make sure that you put the light side and the dark side that corresponds to the light side and the dark side of your photo. So in this particular case, I'm going to give this one a go, and I don't know if it's going to work or not because it is particularly lighter than the backdrop, so it might not work. So if you've got a light or a dark backdrop. They don't always work with all the same backdrops, but if that makes sense. Anyway, so I'm going to be trying to use this one, and I will get you to notice that my digital backdrop is light on the same side as my photo. So the light is coming from the top right hand side and the left hand side is dark, and hence my digital backdrop must also be light on the right hand side and darker on the left hand side. Otherwise, not so good. Anyway, so the first thing I do is I decide whether I want to do overlay or soft light. I can always decide later, but soft light for me this time. All right, then I go to my background or the layer that my subject is located on. I hit W and then I select subject. As you can see, the subject has been selected. Right click, then select inverse. So we're selecting the background. Then we go to my backdrop. Make sure you click on the backdrop and then apply your mask, and there you go. Now as you can see, that does not look overly natural now, does it? So in this particular case we will need to reduce some of that opacity. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then you can check overlay again to see if it's a better effect. Soft light versus overlay, I don't know. They're about the same, right? Except this part's a little bit lighter. Meh, works for me. All right, so that is how you would add the layer. And then if it's not looking natural to you, then you just need to reduce the opacity. So that does not look natural. That looks a little bit more natural. And what you might want to do also is blur out that digital backdrop a little bit. So you go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, probably around 8 is usually what I do. And there you go. And then you will need to work on both the background and the foreground to sort of match the lighting. As you can see, the backdrop looks a lot darker and less contrasty, whereas my subject is a little bit too light. I can try doing that with curves if you like. So I will add curves over the background and probably drop some of the mid-tones on that one. That's not working. So I might go back into my camera raw. And remember, I made it too bright anyway because I wanted to show you how to get rid of the creases in the paper backdrop. But now my subject is too bright and contrasty. So I need to drop it a little bit. And then I hit OK. And I might select the subject again and apply the mask, and that might work a little bit better. There we go. That does work a little bit better, although I do find that the backdrop is anyway, this will take me a while to play with because this is a new digital backdrop. And the other thing I will mention is that if you notice this digital backdrop is particularly bright, and because I'm using a dark background on the normal photo, you do sort of have a harder time blending them in, or at least I do. I don't like to overcomplicate things. However, if I find maybe a darker backdrop, it might work a little bit better. So I'll show you how that works. Alrighty then. So I'll add this one. Very pretty, isn't it? Okay. So you will notice how the light is coming from the left side, but on my photo it's coming from the right side. So to flip that over, I will then go to, where is it? Edit, transform, and then flip horizontal. And there you go. That's much better, don't you think? And then I will do the same thing. I'll have a look at overlay versus soft light. I do prefer soft light. And then once again, you go to the layer with your subject, model, client, select the subject, select inverse, go to your layer and then apply the mask. See, and that looks a little bit more natural because I'm using a dark digital backdrop with a dark photo background. So it works a little bit better. Drop the opacity a little bit. Voila. Works a little bit better than that one, right? And then, as per our Sean Archer actions, you can then add the, the hue and saturation adjustment layer. Okay, holding down the Alt key, you will see a little arrow pointing down to the layer below, which is my background layer. And that means that whatever I do on the hue and saturation adjustment layer will only be applied to the digital backdrop and not to my subject. So as you can see, I can change the light or the color of it. I'm looking for a little bit more purple, I think. Where's my purple? I'll increase the saturation so I can have the purple look. Yep, there we go. Then I can decrease my saturation. And then I can make it a little bit brighter or darker depending on what I want to do. And remember, do your blur to make it look more natural. About 8. And then you have it. I'm pretty happy with that. Perfect. All right, and this is it for this particular video. So that's it for this particular video. I hope you have a finer appreciation for the creases in your paper backdrops. Go ahead, play around with it in Photoshop with the patch tool and see if you can get the same sort of results, the sort of hand-painted canvas result with the creases in paper backdrops. I've also shown you how to use different digital backdrops and how to apply them. However, if you absolutely love this particular backdrop, which I absolutely do, it is still available. Go ahead and purchase that one, and you can go back to my previous video tutorials that take you from the beginning to the end of my editing process using this particular backdrop. If you have any questions, comment below. Otherwise, you'll find me on TikTok. Till the next time, let me know if there's any particular videos that you want me to cover off. And I am also looking forward to doing lighting in small spaces. I have some amazing lighting techniques if you are restricted to space. So if you're working in a home studio, for example, or a small office, low ceilings, not much space, I have mastered it. I'm absolutely delighted with the results that I get in small spaces, so I will be looking at doing some videos about that too. Till then, let me know if you have any questions. Till next time.